Some have asked, why is it that the Earth, of all the planets, is the only one that shows expansion? But if you look, they all do. Take Mercury. Mercury has a polygonal fracture pattern of a couple of 100 kilometres, which is exactly what I think the Earth was like at that time. That's just what the expanding Mercury should have been like at that stage of its development. And now Mars. This great equatorial rift zone on Mars is exactly what I think the Earth was like at that stage of its development. Then the asymmetry of all the planets and of the Moon, I think that is due to their expansion. These calculations depend on the assumption that the mass of the Earth has been constant. And as we've already said, I doubt that this is true. Paleomagneticians have also tried to estimate the ancient radius of the Earth by measuring how far various paleolatitudes were from the pole of the time. Now, individual results scatter very, very widely, but by combining a large number of them, we hope statistically to get the correct result. Now, the error here is not so much in the statistics, but in the assumption that as a continent flattens to a larger radius Earth, that the angles to the pole remain constant. You all know that the angles of a plane triangle add up to 180 degrees, but the three angles of a triangle on the surface of a sphere add up to something between 180 degrees and 540 degrees, according to the ratio of the size of the triangle to the radius. Hence, the angle between two meridians of longitude painted on the surface of a continent, each pointing to the pole, would get smaller as the Earth expands, and still point to the more distant pole, thus continuously cancelling the evidence that the Earth is expanding. Still larger errors come from the map projections used by the paleomagneticians for their calculations. When you make a map of the spherical surface on a flat paper, shapes must distort severely. You can't flatten a sphere without distorting something. You can draw a map so that all the areas are correct, but only with great distortion of shape. Or you can draw a map to keep shapes correct, but the areas are way out. Or you can have the angle and distance from one central point correct, but both shapes are wrong, as on this one. This quadrangle here has the same area and shape as that one in there, although they're different on the projection. In drawing the continents, you have a wide choice, but the expanding Earth did its own thing, and you've got no choice at all. It didn't hold angles strictly correct, it didn't hold shapes strictly correct, or areas strictly correct. But the paleomagneticians, they started off by using an azimuthal equidistant projection, which has quite large errors as you move away from the centre. They improved a bit by using an azimuthal equal area projection, but still the errors are large, and especially away from the centre, and their computer program biases in favour of the points furthest away from the centre. And the paleomagneticians claim that their results prove that the Earth is not expanding. But in addition to these geometrical errors, they ignore all the billions of fractures, large ones and small ones, right on down to the smallest joints. Now, if each joint only yielded by 1/1000th of a degree, you could accumulate 10 degrees of error in 1 kilometre. It's all like this picture puzzle of the vanishing square. Here we have two identical rectangles, 12 squares by 5 squares, and this orange triangle is the same as this one, and this blue triangle, which is 7 by 3, is the same as this one, which is 7 by 3, and this green one, which is 5 by 2, the same as this green one, which is 5 by 2, and this purple area with 5 underneath and 2 on top is the same as this purple area with 5 underneath and 2 on top, and this yellow one with 5 on top and 2 underneath, the same as this one with 5 on top and 2 underneath. Where does the black one go to?